Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to episode 5 of Watching Walford, an Eastenders podcast where we talk about and review all of the Eastenders episodes every week. Welcome back to the Watching Walford channel, which is more than just one podcast. We aim to make documentaries on characters, retell stories from yesteryears, and delve into some of the story arcs the show's had. And perhaps other soaps eventually, but you know, it's very, very slow. We're in a slow cooker right now. Maybe eventually something will come out of it. But for now, it's
hopefully hopefully our house doesn't explode like Mad May with a cooker.
Yeah, at this point, it's just empty promises. But I swear, there will be something.
Look, we did make a video for you. The first fun video made for you guys on a Wednesday.
Indeed. So don't get greedy.
Yeah,
And
I try hard here. I'm like a what was the quote I said? I'm like a sign languager at an Eminem concert.
Forgot about that one. Yeah, and the usual, this podcast is just audio only, but at some point we do aim to mess around with actual footage. I'm your host, Ash, and I'm joined by Piggy.
Well, if the BBC allows us to use the footage, it's going grand this year. I'm trying to get that name off the ground, you know, trying to.
Just for the branding.
Yeah, just for the branding. So, like, if Eastenders ever do reach out to us and be like, hey, we want you on the show, you know.
Alright, Seal, can you bring the pig? Yep, will do, mate, will do. Got ya. Old Papa BBC. And, yeah, I suppose, as just the premise, we're gonna be reviewing week 5 of 2023. The episode's going from the 30th of the 1st, 2023, to the 2nd of February, 2023. So we're finally into the second month. Just about. Been a long run. But yeah. And with all that aside, let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of the show. We'll kick off the show with the 30th of January, 2023. Yeah, that'll be turned into a video. Thrive. First scene of the week is Lola is in bed with Jay, and Jay starts to panic because Lola's in a really deep sleep. She's dead! She's not. But she really did, like, did make it scary, though. She just pretty much catatonic, just not moving. And toast pops, and boom, we see Jack question Ricky Jr. And he gives in, and Ricky essentially goes, mate, I was only texting Lily, and yes, I want the baby. Drama. Meanwhile, at the Slaters, we see that Stacey is trying to be more productive as she makes Lily some dry toast. She can't go to school on an empty stomach. Meanwhile, Zach starts running, and Reese bumps into Reese. And Sonia's like, yeah, you can leave that tuber in the backyard. Essentially, Sonia's a bit upset because Reese doesn't really... Well, because he ran out on her. He ran out on her when she tried to kiss him. And he essentially kind of explains away by saying, listen, right, the last time we shacked, we didn't really get to know each other too well. So he asks her for, lunch or dinner. Reese eats both.
And he ate her out as well.
Oh, no.
Go on, Reese. Way, lads.
Oh, stop it, you. Back at the Brandings, we see Jack and Sam scolding Ricky Jr. about having a baby. He storms off, and then we see some school kids making fun of Ricky Jr. And Ricky and Amy, actually, they have a nice little heart-to-heart, where she's just like, man, I'm so happy to not be the problem child. And, but nah, she's genuinely just like, yo, you listen, right, you need anything, talk to me, alright, it's fine. I'm there for you, I'm proud of you, And it's like, hey, maybe Amy's not gonna be a menace this time. Because, you know, fair enough. It's good to show the social issue, but also it was pretty rough to just see Jack like, "Oi, what do you bloody mean?" It's like, Jack, come on, they're kids. They're gonna do dumb stuff. What do you mean they're kids? They're not kids. They're my kids. They don't do nothing wrong. So, all right, Jack, come on, sit down. Being a bit hostile here. I'm just tired of Jack at this point.
I want Max back.
I do not want Max back. And yeah, Denise is still trying to play mediator. Sam eggs on Jack to go and yell at the Slaters as Stacey and Whitney are talking about babies. But Jack angrily walks up to Stacey and says, "Yeah, we'll meet up at 12." So, all right, Jack. Some people have jobs to do, like Jack and Stacey and Whitney. Meanwhile, at the cafe, we see Bernie doing the second squeeze. Ben and Callum complain, and Kathy says, "What's that?" So, apparently, the second squeeze is using the same bag twice.
I can confirm my father used to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, I was going to say, because in my head, I'm like, I've never seen anyone ever do this. Is it just like a stingy / poor person mentality thing?
Sometimes it's just laziness, you know. What's the point of getting out a second tea bag? Just
He's
pop it in, pop it out.
just want a nice set. You just want a nice tea. I'm mind blown. I didn't think this was a thing whatsoever. So, you know.
Neither did I.
Felix offers to take Whitney's stall as he says it's a drag queen's dream. Apparently, Kat's jacket as well is a drag queen's dream, and Kat says, "Listen, alright, you may be tall, but I could still knock you out." At what age do you stop threatening random 20-year-olds? Like 20-something-year-olds, you know? Kat, you're getting on now. Stop threatening children. And yeah, at the Slaters, Jack tells Stacey pretty much Lily has to have an abortion, and Stacey says, "Nah, that's not our decision. It's her decision, you dick." And yeah, Stacey and Martin essentially go, "We're not budging with this. Like, come on now, be reasonable here." Felix and Whitney in the Albert pitch a drag queen battle for wannabe queens. They pitch this big show, and yeah, I want this. I want the drag queen battles. That sounds fantastic. Can this be a regular thing?
Hope so.
I know some people be like, "Oh, bloody Eastenders making it political." Oh.
They're gonna walk. Bloody snowflakes.
You're
I tell
bloody,
you that.
you're bloody making it walk like.
Drag queens, never heard of them, mate.
But hey, you know, I'll give me all of the drag queens.
Have you got people's thoughts on the drag queens race online?
I didn't actually notice too much. I haven't really checked in with the old EastEnders subreddit, so I'll give it a cheeky look for a second if you wanna chat some more nonsense about the drag queen. I mean, I personally think EastEnders isn't gay enough.
Me either. I think it needs to be more gay.
It only ever has. It just my issue with EastEnders, and it's not just an EastEnders thing. It's generally a soap-wide thing. There's only like 3 gay people on the show at a time.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, who do you have on the square that's currently gay? You have Ben and Callum, you have Felix,
Barney.
then you have Bernie, you have Eve, and then you have maybe Sookie. Which,
I
is
thought
6.
Sonia was. I thought
I guess
Sonia was there. Like,
Sonia is bi. But I don't know. I think it's just. Yeah, I also don't think anything actually came out across the drag week. Which
unless it's been deleted, so
there's always a chance. Yeah, well, it's just my issue is that there's never really any like. Basically, all of the gay couples really struggle to be actual couples and actually treat everybody the same. Because it's like, oh yeah, they're all getting together. Look at us, it's all lovely and gay, and then they get together, then they're basically just mates.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, regardless, it's like, and there's only ever like one. There's only ever like one not straight relationship going on at a time as well. Because it's like, oh, who is the gay couple this time? It's Ben and Callum. What is Felix doing? Is Felix trying to date anyone? No. Oh, what's Bernie doing? Is she trying to date anyone? No. I guess Eve and Sookie are the slight other example, but it just takes a lot to get there. Like we've obviously developed so much, and so like in the last like decade, that they can now be a thing. But just give us more.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're telling me, bloody London's not. Like London's more diverse than Walford Square. I'll be honest, lads. Bloody everybody lives in London. But regardless, I mean, just make Walford more gay, please. You have a gay bar, but you only have about 6 gay people. Oh, I like Ash is bisexual, but she also doesn't do anything on the show and is leaving soon. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Lola is recording a vlog. This gets interrupted by Lexi, who's off sick. Yeah. Lexi essentially says, I want to spend all my time with you till you get better. Lexi doesn't realise that Lola's cancer's terminal, though.
I assume that would be very hard to tell your child in real life to go like, look, mate, I'm dying.
I mean, I don't know what's easier. Easier to know the fact that they are dying and that you're gonna spend as much like of this quality time together as possible, or just them suddenly dying.
Do you know how I tell my kids?
Oh God! All right.
I'd be like, remember our dog? Give me a dog's name.
Stephen.
Do you remember our dog Stephen? Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember how we loved him, but then we had to put him down.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to break this to you, Ash, but I have to be put down in real life. You see, I'm gonna be with Stephen, but you are not. You have a lot of years left, but I don't. So I'm sorry to tell you this, Ash, but my cancer is terminal, and I'm gonna be in Stephen's doghouse in a few weeks' time.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm your kid in this circumstance.
Yeah, you're older than me.
But fair enough.
How would you tell your
Honestly,
kids?
the thing that made me laugh at that is because I chose the name Stephen, and obviously last week I mentioned about like Steve Hay and Hollyoaks, and I slightly mentioned about Brendan, who was like the Irish guy, who's just like, "I love you, Stephen," like this like gruff Irish man. Just anytime I hear like an Irish just Stephen, it fucking does me in proper, really does.
Stephen.
How would I tell my kids? I mean, it probably would just sit them down and just be like, listen, all right, I am ill and I'm not getting better, so there will be a point that I will die, and
Just do what my
I
nan.
just want you to I just want you guys to slightly prepare. It's not going to change anything about how we interact now. Like, I don't want any pity. We're gonna have the best time of our lives till we go, but also it is happening. So I guess start preparing.
Just do what my nanny did. I'm not going to give out the real person, but I remember someone passed away in her family. It wasn't in my family. It was in my cousin's family on his side, like his
Yeah,
father or mother's side.
yeah.
And I forget. And my dad was going to sit him down and be like, "Look, Stephen has passed." We'll just use
Stephen.
Stephen again. My nanny came down the stairs on a little stairlift and was like, "Look, Stephen's dead. Bye."
That's reasonable.
So how my nanny would tell kids she had cancer. She would be like, "Look, I have cancer. I'm gonna die. See ya. Put the kettle on. Have a cup of tea. Talk to you later on."
Oh, but yeah, I think obviously there's a scene where she tells her later, but yeah, it's pretty rough. It's some pretty tragic irony. You're just like, ah, he doesn't know he's dead. Jack plays.
I
Oh, carry on.
I was gonna say I'd assume her final scenes will be with Emma, her mom, and Lexi, and then she passes in
Yeah,
either Emma's arms or Lexi's arms.
yeah. Or Jay. I don't know. I feel like they'll all be together. I kind of feel like there'll be some. I personally feel like there'll be some I feel like she'll be with Emma, and then Jay will kind of be like, "You've caused so much grief in the last 2 weeks," and then she'll probably have to leave again and be all sad.
Yeah, because we'll get it to later on, but Emma wins my line of the week.
Yeah. All right, carry on. Jack plays brutal truce and tries to terrify Lily Slater about having a kid. It's one of the most harsh things I've seen in a while. Essentially, yeah, you know what being a teen mum's like? Yeah, it's rough. You get so much abuse. Oh, how are you gonna get a job? You've got a kid to figure out. You've got healthcare. You've got childcare to figure out. Yeah, and you wanna know how are you gonna get a job? Why? Because you're probably gonna drop out of school, aren't you, dickhead? Gonna drop out of school, aren't you? Can't raise a kid by yourself, can you? just,
I
being,
think it was a
being
very
so
hard scene for
rude.
me to watch
Yeah.
because you should basically like, "Look, look, mate, you're screwed as a parent. You're a 12. Sit down, you dickhead." It's just like that. And you're like, "Mate, Jack, she's 12. Calm down." And he was just like, look, you're screwed as a mother. You're 12. You don't know how to do 5 plus 5. You're screwed."
Yeah, it was just really brutal. I think it's important for Lily to hear and go essentially oh Christ, yeah, all these things I haven't even thought about yet because I'm 12. But also, Jesus Christ, mate, rein it in.
I wonder how Max would tell Lily.
Oh, Max would do the same. Yeah, but it would be in character for Max.
Yeah, it would. Problem is he'd sleep with her though, that's the difference. When she's older. I should clarify when she's older.
Yeah, there we are. Oh, we're safe. And we cut across to Reese, who tells Sonia maybe you should hire a lodger. And yeah, I just still love all the Sonia and Reese scenes because Reese is just gonna oh, do you want to do something? And Sonia's like, yeah, let's do something right now, let's do it. And it's just Reese is so awkward and shy, and Sonia's just serious and confident. Howie gets on the stage as he has been pulled up to be the test as for the drag show. His drag name, How Would You Like Me? Ah, it's great. It's great. Love it. It's a really fun scene. And yeah, Kathy starts to come round to the idea, but she can't really warrant doing it in the current economic climate. Bloody Kathy playing spoiler. How dare you be worried about money in the current economical situation? How dare you? Piggy, off the top
Doesn't
of your
that?
head, do you have any drag name? Like, do you have your drag name in your head?
Uh,
If you don't, we can just move on. But
what's your drag name first?
yeah, well, I was stalling so I could try to think of one.
All right. Kevin liked me. Kevin licked me.
All right. Um.
Jack Daddy. That maybe.
Uh.
Jack me off. Might be another one.
That's definitely one. You know what? I'm gonna leave that up to the comment section to figure out.
Aqua Daddy movie going on. Wet Dreams. Coming up to the stage. Give a warm welcome
The only
to
terrible one I
Wet
have right now
Dreams.
is just Ash Me Outside.
Coming
BSG.
up to the stage. Ask me outside.
Yeah, honest, that worked. That's fine. It's not good, but you know what? We'll have it. For having about 30 seconds to think about it, I'll give it that.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack and Denise have a heart to heart, but then Stacey goes, "Oi, what the bloody have you been saying to my daughter, you knob?" And Jay and Lola talk about her new blog. He's talking holidays, and Lola's like, I can't. I have to tell her, man. I have to tell Lexi that the cancer's terminal. As Stacey continues to scream at Jack, and Martin essentially threatens Jack and says, "Oi, do you want problems, mate? I'll give you some problems." And even Stacey goes, "Listen, alright, you continue this. Jack and Ricky, you both are cut off from this child. Like, you won't be seeing anything from them. So, is this gonna calm Jack down and mean he's gonna stop being an absolute knobhead? No. No. Royce seems to suggest that, hey Sonia, maybe you should ask me to move in, but Sonia says, you can't mix business and pleasure. Like, just put out an ad for a lodger. Poor Reese, he wants to move in, doesn't he?
He does.
And Felix
They have
says,
to get together.
oh yeah, they're getting together no matter what. Like, I genuinely believe that Reese and Sonia will be together for years once it actually happens. Like, I genuinely believe that, this will be like the old timey married couple type deal. Which I hope so. Like,
In my day.
I think it will genuinely turn out to be like Arthur and Pauline. Except because I mean, the thing with Sonia at this point is Sonia's been built into being a mix between both Dot and Pauline Fowler. So she's obviously there to bring in any newcomers who are slightly questionable, maybe perhaps Jed has some dark secrets or whatever, and he is staying about. Maybe she will kind of help him open up, just like how Sonia, or just how Dot did with Phil, did with Dennis Rickman, did with Fat Boy, did with so many people. But yeah, if that's my one bold prediction, I genuinely believe that Rice will be sticking around for the long foreseeable future.
Until he gets fed up and leaves the show or gets killed off.
No, I'll make the prediction. You know, he will be sticking about. They will become like the old married couple of the square. Could be nonsense. Could be completely off the mark. But
Did we talk about it last week? The article that came out about Reese.
all right, let's not talk about it yet. But we'll talk about it in a little bit. But yeah, we'll talk about that like soon. Just kind of laugh about people being silly. And essentially, in the pub, I think it's Chelsea and Felix are like talking in the pub and discussing like Whitney stuff. Wait, no, it is Whitney and Felix, and Felix walks up to Zach and goes, "All right, cancel your next back, sack, and crack appointment, because Whitney has expenses." And mentions this like pram that she's wanted, and you know, Whitney's like, "Nah, I don't want anything from you," but they all kind of feel bad about it. So, well, except for Felix, of course. But yeah, they are going to end up together, like without doubt. Anything to say about Whitney and Zach or Felix?
No.
And in the final scenes of the episode, Ricky Jr. has decided to move in with Sam because all Jack has done for the last few months is tear his family apart. In the final scene, like all of the are they all Brannings? Kind of, I guess technically. There's more Mitchell than Branning, but regardless, they're all kind of like outside the house. You know, Jack's like shouting at Sam, and he's like trying to like pull Ricky back in. Denise is trying to comfort Amy, and Jack's just kind of there, just struggling. And the second episode commences as we see Sam handing Ricky Jr. a £20 note for lunch. Basically, it's the aspect of Sam that we don't see as much because she tries to hide it. She's a garbage mum. Yeah, she tries. She tries her best. But it is never. She doesn't have that natural maternal instinct, does she? And Zach gets Whitney the pram, but he also asks that Kat gets her the pram because he doesn't want her knowing it was him. Sam tells Jack she needs a bigger flat for Ricky, and she goes, "Hey, Harvey's old flat, that's not being used, is it?" So, you know, she's gonna get a bloody flat out of this. Huge. And Lexi realizes something's going on because Ben, Jay, and Lola are all like kind of coddling her and trying to be all like, "Hey, everything's really happy. Have a donut. Have a hug." As she goes, "You guys are being weird." And this is the time that Lola's finally went, "All right, let's actually mention that the cancer's terminal." Patrick and Denise talk about the whole Jack, Ricky, and the pregnancy scandal, and Denise is upset that Jack won't talk to her. "So did somebody say affair? What? Affair, anyone? Any affairs?" Like it's down it in like a market street. "Get your affairs here, Ravi and Denise, front cover page. It's happening." It's happening for sure. I moved things so I forgot where I am. And we now get the scene that Lola mentions to Lexi that the tumor's not going to go away and she's not going to have much time left. Lola tells her that she's going to die and everyone's crying. And Lexi responds in a way that they didn't really expect. Lexi just goes, "Can I go to school now?" As she clearly just struggles to get her head around it. I think it was a good scene to have. The actress who plays Lexi gets a lot of stick, but It's a solid way to like get across that, you know, your mum's dying. Like, if there's one thing they managed to do well, is they managed to actually make Lola and Lexi genuinely seem like mother and daughter, because they have a very strong relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was pretty sad, pretty good scene. We see Denise talk to Ravi, and he asks her, "Do you like the goods?" Denise says no, but and I wrote, "If Denise ain't buying, I'll buy it." Goddamn Ravi, you sexy, tight-clothed bastard, you. He's just got muscles everywhere. Why does he wear such tight clothes? Not that I'm complaining, of course, but bloody Ravi, man. Jesus. Denise says to Stacy, "Someone needs to talk some sense into Jack." And then we see Bernie chatting to Whitney in the cafe, and she upsets her by gossiping about Lily. So Whitney's like, "Mate, she's my like, I don't know, they're related in some way." I don't actually know how. It's Eastenders, like, I guess she's like a half cousin slash niece, because she's Ryan's half sister. I don't even know. I suppose. Can we take this time? I want to have a moan about Bernie,
Go ahead.
because she's just such a useless character.
The actor is not. The actor's pretty good.
The actor's fine, but she doesn't get much to work with. She's just like, okay, play the clumsy, awkward, like, not quite socially aware, fat, poor person. That sounds really mean, but tell me I'm wrong. That's all she gets to do. What storylines has she really had since she's been on the square? She had her pregnancy, which she'd lost. She had the whole thing where she was Tiff's best mate, but also had a massive crush on Tiff. Then there was the one episode where Tiffany was being groomed into selling drugs, so they had a bit of a kiss, and then Bernie's like, "Ooh," but you know, it was all Tiffany trying to use her. And then that happened. She then became best mates with Dottie for a while, because Dottie needed a friend because she wasn't getting much attention from anyone. Bernie apparently plays chess, seemingly. And she had that thing where, like, she was getting unfairly treated by the Panasars at the call center. And now she's just gonna be the annoying one in the cafe. Like, what's the point?
Will she get sacked in the cafe?
Oh no, she'll probably also be there for a while. I reckon. She'll turn out to actually be decent at it once she learns. I think it's an attempt for EastEnders to use her more, but I just I just don't want to see her at all. Martin and Jack have a conversation with each other, and Martin, you know, essentially they actually discuss this properly and go, "Listen, all right, bringing up Bex was hard, but you know, we had all the support, and you know, Denise had Raymond, and essentially the point finally gets across that it's Lily's choice, not Jack's or Ricky." Sonia starts complaining that the first guy who went for the ad is sexist, the other one was racist, and the last one wanted to play in cryptocurrency. Sonia says, "I don't even know what that is," and then Reese goes, "Well, actually, cryptocurrency." She's like, "No, I'm good. I don't actually want to know." And then Sonia says, "You know what? If the next one doesn't work out, you're gonna have to take the room." And then Reese is gonna like, "Oh, oh," but Jed appears, and Reese is like, "Oh, for God damn it, it's so close." Jack and Denise try to comfort Ricky Jr., but Jack wants him back at the house. And Ricky's mind isn't changed at all, and in dealing with this upset, Jack snaps at Denise again.
Affair.
Denise bumps into Ravi, and he comforts her with a drink at Walford East. Affair! Zach and Chelsea argue, which leads to Zach wondering why Sam has stayed, because as far as he was concerned, she was off to Germany. Ben comforts Lexi, and then we see Lola's mum, Emma, enters the fray as she comforts Lexi, whilst Ben is, dealing with stuff in the Arches. Ben says back in an hour. Well, I think what Emma actually said, Emma said, listen, alright, if she told you, it means that she cares. And, she's trying to protect you by allowing you time to kind of, figure it out and, she wouldn't have done it if she didn't care for you. She's not trying to abandon you. She's not trying to be selfish. She's just trying to, prepare you for when it happens. And this, along with Ben going to give her a gooey hot chocolate, this kind of starts to help her out. And Ravi comforts Denise and shows a bit more of a serious side. He essentially talks about, being a young dad and, maybe someone like her could have helped guide him along. Zach talks to Sam because he worries that it may have given her HIV. And then Zach then actually confides in her and goes, yeah, I am HIV positive. And storms off because, well, Sam just kind of takes a bit too long to process it, and he gets really kind of nervous. Ravi and Denise talk about the past, and Ravi keeps flirting the idea of I wouldn't treat anyone like that, never mind my wife. And Denise has to stop herself from another drink. And even then he says, listen, alright, if you're not going to confide in me, at least make sure you're actually listened to and treated right. Yeah, Ravi knows exactly what to say to Denise. Any of her insecurities, just don't worry. I know how to do it. Although, the main issue is it's just, imagine if somebody treated you as if you were meant anything. Rather than Jack's who's that bloody wife in the corner? Shut your mouth. They're my kids, not yours.
You slag.
But yeah, the affair's happening. The affair's happening on the 20th of Feb week. That's when it's happening, I guarantee. It may not start. It may not start, but it's definitely going. Honestly, one thing I wouldn't be surprised if happens. I wouldn't be surprised if Sam manages to also get with Jack.
Do you know what Jack needs?
What's he need?
He needs slapping down.
He does. Put down 2 slapping downs for Jack.
I'll be back next week when who else needs slapping down?
And we see Lola and Jay watching Lola talk about cancer and how the fact that her cancer is terminal. And Lexi comes back in and she's happier, she's comforted by what Emma told her. Denise gets back home as Amy has decided she wants to help because Jack has started to shut down. Although when Denise finally gets inside, she looks through the window and sees Ravi smiling, and she kind of shuts her blinds oh, because she just starts to feel bad. It's not even unreasonable, really. I feel like she's perfectly justified. If Jack's not giving you the necessary attention and has just been yelling at you for the last 3 months, maybe it's okay to start kind of going, maybe I'll find somewhere where I'm actually worth something. And Lola talks to Jay, and she's upset because the day's been rough, and mostly because Lexi didn't talk to her. And she's kind of wondering what this super special woman at the park has that she doesn't. And as Kim and Howie are making up, as earlier in the episode he was sassing her over her kilt, or more so the tartan, He arrives in the salon with a suit, a kilt, and a tartan tie. Bloody Kim and Howie. Nonsense. They get all touchy-feely, but then we see Lola's mum walk into the hair salon and book an appointment for tomorrow at 12. And she specifically requests Lola, giving the fake name Nicole. Tomorrow, Lola's going to meet her mum after all this time, and she doesn't even know. Episode 3 of the week starts with Whitney staring into the distance as Finley walks in late and gets drilled over his new love. They slept together. That's it. Zach then walks past Sharon, who tries to get him to open up again, which doesn't work, but essentially says, listen, right, if you don't want to speak to me, speak to Martin. He's your best mate. Like, come on. Sonia drops Karen off a bag of clothes at the laundromat, and Karen asks her if the new lodger is fit, and Sonia just says, essentially goes, why, and just leaves. Just stop it, you. Keep the horny away. Jay,
But she's getting horny with Reese.
Oh, I say that again.
She's getting horny with Reese, so
Yeah. Well. Not with a new lodger, though.
oh, look at the muscles.
Jay comforts Lola, and they talk about a new post. Her vlog has gotten over 1,000 views, and she's preparing to go see a new client, Nicole. Emma. Kim then talks about Harvey showing up in a kilt, which is essentially them going, like, man, aren't we a happy couple? Which puts Denise in a pretty rough spot, because Jack's been a little bit too preoccupied with being hot-headed, rather than actually, like, treating his wife properly. Kim wants to make sure that Denise and Jack actually made up, which Denise just kind of goes, me and Jack are fine. Which Ravi hears and looks smug, because, hey Piggy, let me tell you a secret.
Mm-hmm.
They're not fine.
Oh, are they not? I didn't know that.
Instead of treating Denise to some TLC, Jack just coldly goes like, yeah, can we talk about this later? And she's just like, yeah, I guess. And essentially Patrick goes, hey, buddy, maybe you should treat her well. Yeah, man. True story. That's exactly how it went in the show. And I also wrote, not a good sign, as the first thing that came out of Jack's mouth is essentially, we need to talk about Sam's, like, living situation. So even she wasn't the ow, just dropped that on my foot. Even the main priority wasn't even Denise. Like, oh, I'm sorry I was a bit frosty with you, Sam Mitch. The ex that won't leave you guys alone. Whitney gets some change and talks to Kat. She mentions how she's been spotting, which, as far as I read, is essentially like some like bleeding from the vagina. So that this happens during some pregnancies. And Whitney also gets the pram, and we see the Hoff. Whoa.
Where was the Hoff introduced?
The Hoff was apparently left in a cab for some reason. Maybe it was a stag do. We then see the newbie Jed and Sonia talk, and it's revealed that he loves some drum and bass. And I essentially went, man, he looks like a grown-up art student going through the festival phase. If anybody ever went to the like art to the art college, you know exactly what kind of person they are. Do a lot of pills, smoke a lot of weed, listen to a lot of drum and bass, and dress like hippie stoners. Zach and Sam talk properly, and they go to the clinic and get some advice for Zach's HIV. Well, more so, she's trying to convince him to go to the clinic to actually get some advice. And Sam, yes, and she says, listen, all right, we'll go to the clinic as, you know, I know where you can get some help for this.
Ah, do, ah, do, 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 do. Let me find the note here. Do, 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 do. Very the first February chat, isn't it? Zach and Sam talk properly and go to the clinic to get some advice for Zach's HIV. Sam tells Zach they'll go to a clinic as she knows someone who can help. Whitney and Kat talk and Whit brings up Zoe, which she doesn't really talk about. Kat tells Whitney that Lily has everyone around her, which should make it easier for her. Denise brought flowers by Jack and essentially says, "Come on, Denise, we have some making up to do. I have half a day off. Jack, you melt."
All right, we're back. Hello.
Agrees. Sorry, I'm reading the notes here. We then see Lola's mom, Emma. That's where I left off.
Okay. Yeah, Emma walks in with this appointment, and Emma is stunned to see her little girl grown up. And Lola's happy to see her, but she also doesn't know who she is. Sam and Zach talk about the HIV news, and Zach refuses to pick up the meds, and Sam essentially says, "Oi, back in the 80s, you'd be dead. So get some pills, you knobhead." And Zach's like, "Yeah, but people are going to look at me different, alright? Nobody's going to get with me, nobody's going to look at me properly. And what's the kid going to think about him?" And yeah, Sam essentially goes, "Listen, alright, if you don't get your treatment, you can still pass it on. But if your viral load is low enough, it's untraceable and therefore untransmittable." Pretty important scene, and I hope that Zach actually gets the help he needs.
Me too.
It'll be about damn time. And Jack enters the scene when Zach opens the door as he's brought headphones over for Ricky. Ooh. Lola talks to Emma without knowing that it's her mum. She's talking about the wedding and the happy parts as Emma just kind of sits there happy. Then Emma starts to drop some very strong hints, which kind of makes Lola kind of... It may just be some like weird timing, but Lola then goes, "Oh, jeez, I'm feeling a bit dizzy. Can I get a glass of water?" But yeah, she essentially goes, "Yeah, I'm getting dressed up to see my daughter." Ooh. And then goes, "Yeah, I haven't seen her for a very long time. I haven't seen her since she was young." And then it's like, oh Jesus, you couldn't. Like, she's not lying, but man alive, you could be a bit more subtle, like. But yeah, as Lola leaves pretty quickly, she doesn't want people to know that she's here, and she drops 70 quid as like a big tip. Jesus.
I wish I could get a big tip.
During Whitney's scan, they notice that something might possibly be wrong. Obviously, we'll get more to that once they actually diagnose it, but yeah, it's something that we'll talk about later. And Sharon and Mark reminiscing about Mark Fowler, who would have been 55 tomorrow? Or maybe it was the day, it was mentioned the day before, but I don't remember which day it was.
Wednesday. It was mentioned on the Wednesday.
And
So his
Mark...
birthday was on the Thursday.
Okay, cool. And Mark was an Eastenders original and ended up dying of HIV. Topical. And as they delve deeper, Zach is about to tell both Sharon and Martin the news, but even Martin's been kind of like holding that secret deep down because Zach didn't even know that Mark had died from HIV. He thought it was cancer. So, you know, this kind of makes Zach go, "Oh, all right, maybe I'm not good to talk about this right now." And Sam and Ricky are unboxing Harvey's flat, and Ricky wants Jack to stay for a game of FIFA. Jack has a decision whether he should try stay for his kid or go back to Denise, who has glammed up, is wearing the red dress, and is just like, let's go. Let's fix things, baby. Next scene is Karen and Jed are blasting drum and bass out in the house as Sonia walks in. They're also smoking a shisha.
Are they smoking weed?
No, it's not weed. It's like juice. You just smoke some like juice and it comes out this like flavored vapor type deal. They leave and they go to the pub as Jed tries to charm Sonia back on side and kinda pulls it off. Back at Lola's and she's feeling proper rough. She talks about the new customer and how nice she was. And as this is happening, Emma's keeping up with Lola's vlogs, and is just crying in her car.
Which is her home.
That's not a home.
It is for the moment. She doesn't have anywhere to stay.
That's true, but it's not like she just lives in a... If she can give 70 quid in tips, she definitely has a house.
She has a house,
or
but not at the moment.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
We won't see it.
Yeah, we won't see it at all, will we? And Jack arrives late to his and Denise's half-day, late. He apologizes, but Denise is like, it's fine, I'm not disappointed, but the moment's gone. And as Zach is crying in the square, Whitney calls him, but he doesn't pick up. The doctors arrive, and they tell her that some of her baby's organs are developing outside their body. And it turns out that the baby might not survive. I suppose one thing that's interesting, it's a different thing from what it was mentioned in the spoilers a while ago. Because that was Edwards syndrome, where the baby's where they have a heart condition and the heads can be a bit smaller. So it's not the same thing. So that's what we're leading into. That's pretty rough, isn't it? So your kid may have organs that grow on the outside of their body, and likely to have other issues. But regardless, on to the final episode of the week. As Whitney is sitting on the doorstep, rubbing her belly, worried about the kid due to the news at the hospital. And Lexi tells Lola that Maisie Jenkins has been telling everyone that it's weird that Lola has been so open about her cancer. And, Lexi says she doesn't want no trouble. Just you wait. Martin and Zach talk about things. Martin reveals that he got a big job in Turkey for at least 3 weeks. They talk about Mark, and we even get a little image of him. And, Sharon eggs Mum to take the job as Zach wasn't listening. Kim is a good friend and looks after Lola and says, listen, alright, I'll open the salon. You deal with whatever you need to deal with. We've all got kids to look out for. No. Denise and Sam have a conversation in the market, and Sam tells her, I need to be here for my kid. And, she awkwardly kind of says her and Jack, getting together. And then it's like, oh, no, I didn't mean that way. I wouldn't hate it, personally, but, Sam also says, listen, alright? You sure you should be wearing that dress? Do you know if it's age appropriate? And after this, Denise kind of nabs the dress back and goes, you know what, fine. I'm going to go straight to Ravi and actually get complimented. Sharon tells Zach he needs to go and talk to someone because he's just being an absolute miserable bastard to literally everyone possible. And Kat and Whitney catch up, and Kat reveals that it was actually Zach who brought the pram. And that's kind of an example of him actually wanting to be there for the child. Lola's mum is back in the salon again, and she wants her nails done. And Lola says, oh, so you want to look the best for your daughter? And Emma just kind of looks like, doesn't say anything, but is very thrown off. And Kat threatens Zach, essentially saying, listen, all right, be there for the baby, or else I'm going to mess you up, son. Drop an elbow on him. Reese tells Sonia, do you want to grab lunch? And Sonia mentions how, I've had a half a bottle of wine with Jed, and Reese is like, well. But she wants to finish the bottle with Reese. Reese also says, maybe you should evict Jed. Will that happen? Who knows? Zach comes over to Whitney's and he tells her, I want to be there for you. I want to be there for the baby. But Whitney's also upset because Zach just hasn't really, confided in her. She doesn't care if they're not, together. Even as mate, she just isn't opening up and just kind of always clams up, so. As this happens, Denise and Kim are talking, and Kim assumes that all of the sexy times went down last night. Denise goes, well, I thought it was, but he came back late, and the moment was gone. And we then get the scene where Whitney opens up and tells Zach about the baby's disorder. He has a ton of questions as Whitney struggles, and Zach tries to be stable and comforting, but it's told that there can be some complications with this. Whitney decides that it's gonna be fine and they can fight it, but Zach apologizes for not being there when she's been struggling with all this. He says he was gonna reveal that he was HIV positive. He was gonna tell her now, but not yet, as he pledges to be there for the baby. He's going to be there at the next appointment, and she says she's scared, but they share a little bit of a hug. And as I expected, Denise and Kim go into the restaurant. Denise is wearing the sexy red dress, which Ravi notices immediately. Ravi starts to toy with the idea that, despite there being so many bars around, you decided to pick here. She bluffs it, but Ravi knows exactly why. Oh, I'm getting a call. What's it from? It's only from a fair watch. It's happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, Kim then asks Denise, what? Why did you choose to come here? And Denise's like, no, I don't know. Emma and Lola are getting her nails done, and Lola talks about a tumor and reveals that it is terminal. Emma kind of struggles to deal with this and admires how calm Lola is with the situation. And Emma then learns that Maisie Jenkins is slagging her off to Lexi. Oh, you messed up now. You messed up now, Maisie. Zach gets a taxi to the pharmacy, and he's finally gonna get his tablets. As Stacey and Martin have a conversation where she strings him along and be like, you know what, Martin, I'm so glad that you're so close around and that whenever we call, you're there. And he starts to be like, maybe I'll tell you later. And she's like, no, listen, all right, you got the job, do it. Zach told me, it's fine. We need the money anyways. And then we get the scene of the week. As Lola's mum, Emma, has decided to go to the school and decides to threaten Maisie, the school child.
Look, I'll fucking batter you. I'll batter your mother. I'll batter your dad. If you ever say anything mean about my granddaughter again, I will batter you, mate. I will batter you black and blue. Up and down Walford East. I will batter you, mate. That's basically what she says. I will batter you. I will batter your dad. And I will batter your ma if you make fun of my daughter's cancer to my granddaughter. I'm like, go on, Emma, batter her.
It's so ridiculous. Because it's not like Emma's this big loud character. She's actually been really quiet. So she just goes to school listen, all right, you mess with my family, I'll mess with you. You better stay away. So why are you threatening a child?
I don't know who you are. I don't care who you are. But it's she's doing the taking line like, I don't know who you are, but I will find you and I will kill you.
in a video game.
No, in real life. I honestly
No. Hypothetically, in a video game, YouTube does not like threats of violence, so it's always in Minecraft. In a video game.
But like,
I
it
hope you
has
drown in a
something to
video
do.
game in Minecraft.
I hope it's scene of the week. Like, it's just the way she acts to us. Like, I will batter you.
Oh, it's scene of the week for me for sure. It was. I couldn't stop laughing about it. It's so ridiculous. If there's one scene to seek out this week, it's this one.
I can't stop that. It's a fantastic scene.
Yeah. Oh, good lord.
Oh, I will batter you, mate. You mess with my granddaughter. Imagine she was like training with Chuck Norris. It's like, I'm gonna batter this woman, and Chuck Norris is like, oh, who? She's a 8-year-old, you know. These 8-year-olds are tough.
And in the next scene, we see what some people may have enjoyed. We see Jed doing yoga with Karen. Yeah, they're all doing the downward dogs and all that nonsense. And Karen's like, you're, I don't remember what word, but it's like, you're soft. I don't know. It's like, you're not flexible type deal. You can't do this like I can. And Reese just looks uncomfortable. Did you like this scene? I didn't, personally.
I didn't mind. It still couldn't compete with Lola's mom threatening an 8 or 10-year-old. I don't know what age Maisie is.
About that, yeah. Yeah, it's another issue is that I just really dislike Karen as a character.
Oh, going your rant about Karen.
It's not even that, like, developed, but it's just, she's just the, like, crass, like, she's just the like, crass, poor character of the show. And she has two modes. She either has, like, oh, Keanu, no, it was, you need to stop threatening my boy. It's like, oh, stop it. Or she has the, like, kind of laughy, loud, flirty type thing. And I've just... There's so many other characters that could be in the same spot and be so much better. I don't know why the show loves Karen so much. I just don't think she's a good character, personally. If the whole role of Karen was to bring in all of these new characters around her, why is she still here, you know? Why is she still the most prominent one? I don't know. That's just... I like Mitch. I like Felix. I like Finley. I like Bailey. Keanu's fine. Keegan's alright. Bernie's garbage. Why is Karen still here? It's not even like she's like that like big mum character to them anyway. She just exists. I've just never understood Karen, really. I don't like her. Yeah, that's it. That's the rant. Yeah, Zach finally gets his tablets and it's like, hey, this is a good first step. Look you go. This is gonna be good. And Lexi hasn't been bad. Lexi gets back from school. She hasn't been badgered by Maisie, and Lola gets a lump of, like, a large sum of money through the post. They say it's about $1,000, and Emma just lurks around us. Emma's like, "This is weird, guys. Like, why have I suddenly been given $1,000?" And we get one of the strangest duffs, as it's just Emma looking sheepish, hiding behind a bush. It was just really strange. All right. And that was the week of watching Walford. Before we continue, let's do two of our your favorite segment of the week.
Oh,
The underrated character of the week and the Steve Blackman Award. Which one do you want to go for first?
we'll go for the Steve Blackman Award first this week.
All right.
Controversial take, I understand. But it is. I have to really think about this now.
I mean,
Really. Jed. It is Jed.
what, as the Steve Blackman?
Yeah, he is the Steve Blackman.
So I know we do this every week, but let's finally do it. Is the Steve Blackman Award basically? Do we include the bit where Steve Blackman was liked despite being really wooden, or is it just the fact that they are really just bland?
Yeah, really bland.
There we are. Because like we said, we do this every week. The Steve Blackman was a wrestler in WWF who was just this like big guy who just wore like black baggy trousers. And you know, he did a bunch of martial arts stuff and kicked a lot, and he had some sticks that he like flailed around. But he was really, really wooden. Like he had that like anti-charisma, which I find funny. But he was just really liked. But this one's just for the blandest of the bland. The why is this person here award. And you picked Jed, who, yeah, I'll say fair enough for that. I'll be honest, one thing I might need to check my my Steve Blackman Award of the last week. So I'm slightly worried. I'm trying to figure out who I did last time and whether I need to change it. Because we can't have the same character each week.
I think you chose Jack Branning, I think.
Bollocks! See, I was thinking that, and I was getting quite worried. Because if I could choose him this week, I would. Because he's been an absolute knobhead. Wait, no. Did I not choose Freddie Slater, though? Or was that the week before?
I think that was the week before.
Ah, bollocks. Alright, fine. I'll pick a new one just in case.
It's a new month, so they reset every month.
They don't reset. It's just what did you choose last week? And last week I either chose Freddie Slater or Jack Branning. So let's... Who's been bland as hell this week? Bernie. It's gonna be Bernie, of course. Why would it be anybody else? She's just been a nuisance in the cafe. She's not really done anything interesting. I've had enough. I don't like her. I don't want to see her. Hopefully she actually gets some more screen time over the next couple of weeks and becomes competent so we don't have to sit through this bollocks. There we are.
All right.
So that was slightly heated from me. Furious. And the other side of the barrel, the underrated character, the positive award of the week. And last week, I'm pretty sure you chose Rice or Reese, so you can't choose Reese again.
Oh. He will always be underrated character, but the underrated character this week, I don't know if you have the same pick. It is the child beater herself in a video game.
Oh,
Emma.
yes. I hadn't specifically thought about it in that detail yet, but yeah, she would have been my underrated character of the week. She's fantastic, but I also, I feel like I could also put her up for the Steve Blackman Award though, just because she is really, because obviously it's an attempt to kind of be all coy and not give it away that, oh yo Lola, I'm your mum, but man alive, does she not give anything away. She doesn't say much, she doesn't do much, but yeah. Just the fact that she threatens a child in a video game, just made me laugh my ass off. It was my scene of the week. So yeah, I agree with your underrated character. For me though, oh, who am I gonna have to pick? I'm gonna say Howie. It's gotta be Howie, old posty boy. Between his really dumb like makeup with Kim of wearing like a kilt, a tartan tie, and the drag show, which he absolutely nailed. Underrated character of the week. How would you like me? Now, this is a fun segment, and I'm always happy to shed some light on some of the characters who don't really get so much shine. So that's why they're underrated. And before we end it, there are some spoiler news. Going in for some spoilers. In terms of outside of the show spoilers, Ryan Malloy is coming back. Ryan, during February. We don't specifically know when, but it's the idea that he will be coming back for a guest stint. Obviously, why would he return? Well, he's Lily's dad, and he's Whitney's half-brother. So, there's going to be some big explosive scenes where she's going to be like, how is she pregnant? Or he's probably going to beef with Jack, and, we'll see. It should be fun. I'm excited to see Ryan again. Ryan hasn't been seen since like 2015, I think, when he showed up for... Was that when Whitney got married to Lee? I think so. So it's been a while. But it should be fun. It's like the last guest return I remember being somewhat similar to this is I remember when Sean was brought back, obviously Stacey's brother, Jean's son. There was this big explosive scene where obviously Sean was supposed, well, basically, back when Amy Mitchell was conceived, it was expected that Sean was the dad. But, Jack and Roxy had this, like, drunken, spiteful hookup because they both were upset with Ronnie. And it blew, like, it all came across like, oh, Christ, yeah, it's not Sean's, it's Jack's. And it was like Jack and Sean had a fight. Like, oh, it was great. They really like pushed the boat out for that return. So I'm hoping we get something fairly explosive when Ryan comes back. But it's not like he wasn't like a fighter type deal. Like he definitely had his fair share of brawls. So it should be fun. Plus, I'm always happy to see slightly older characters come back because they do just kill off a lot of characters in the show. In terms of other news, Ash Kaur is set to leave the square as the actress Gurlane Kaur Garcha, that probably butchered that. Essentially, Suki's daughter Ash is set to leave the show after 3 years, which made me go, what has she done over 3 years? She's done nothing. She's done absolutely nothing. She was brought in as the first Panesar, part of the family. She was in a relationship with the Ikra Ahmed, who both her and Habiba both did nothing when they were on the show as well. They broke up. She then got with Peter Beale, who also left pretty soon after. During that time, Suki decided to sleep with Peter just to kind of spite Ash. And since then, she has been a doctor at the practice. Like, she was brought into the show when they didn't really know how to do these. She was brought into the show with the dodgy writers who only wanted to write about either Ben or Gray Atkins. So I feel bad for her. I hope she eventually comes back and actually gets some good storylines. But ultimately, she did absolutely nothing. So, best of luck to the actress. I hope she does some cool things. But ultimately, you were wasted on the show. And yeah, like I said before, it leaves purely Vinny as the only original Panesar, kid in the show. And he's the worst one. It's a big mess. And I suppose related to this in the final spoiler story of the week, the Mitchells and the Panasars are set to go to war. Nish has decided that he wants more businesses, and with the help of Eve and Vinny, he's going to start really trying to muscle in on the Mitchells' turf. So this year should be explosive. And obviously the final thing is just, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, go ahead and watch it. It's hyping up all the stuff happening on the 20th of February and onwards. But yeah, that was Spoiler Watch for the week. That was the talk of the square. And let's segue into the final segment of just the outro. That was episode 5, Watching Walford. I'd argue a pretty fun week of EastEnders, if not a bit campier than normal. Like we'll always remember Emma's mum threatening the child. And otherwise, do we have any like surprise predictions for next week? Apparently Keanu's back.
Oh, is he?
I think
so.
So.
God.
I've read that.
Keanu.
It's about time.
The Steve motherfucking Blackman award will go to Keanu. Keanu.
Yeah, he hasn't been picked for it because he just disappeared. He had the thing with Phil and then he just left. But he's back. Otherwise, there should be a video coming out on the Wednesday, I believe. I made sure to get that finished on time. I don't remember exactly what it is right now. I think it may be like some of the best catchphrases of the show. Because obviously you need slapping down.
You need slapping down.
You have the like, Ben, Phil. And what else is there?
I didn't become a slag. I became a total slag.
And
you
yes,
bitch. You cow.
There we are. And obviously on Wednesday the 8th, we will be seeing what is the best EastEnders catchphrase. So there we are. Thank you for watching this week of Watching Walford. Piggy, do you have anything to plug at the end of this one?
Except for the hairs out of my arse.
So the answer's no. I don't have anything to plug either, I guess. Nah, let's plug the normal things. Go over to the Pigs and Fergs Wrestling. Is that what it's called?
Pigs and Fergs Wrestling Podcast.
There we are. I wasn't sure if the podcast was on the end. Go over to Easily Entertained as well. And yeah, otherwise, thank you for watching week 5 of Watching Walford. It's back. It's still here. Coming into February, coming in hot. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good month. And we're excited to bring all of the EastEnders stuff to you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.